want a pickle now.
Oh my God. I'm in a real pickly place these days. Can't get enough.
So this book cycle, we're going to be doing my book choice, which is Nonviolent Communication by Marshall B. Rosenberg. And I first came to this book from a podcast I listened to called Your Parenting Mojo. And on episode 94, it's about using nonviolent communication. And it really spoke to me. It's about communicating mindfully with compassion and actually getting in tune with your feelings and the language we use, and how some language, which is like pretty standard in our society, is more violent. Like, you made me feel, where you're putting blame on others for your feelings. And so I read this book to try to be a better parent, I guess. One of my biggest parenting goals is to help my children learn how to form and maintain healthy relationships, because I think that's the key to happiness in life. And I found that this book was super helpful for me, which is why I've recommended it here. And it's pretty easy, because you like steps on what to do. And one of the best parts about the book is it has a list that I've bookmarked of feelings that you might be feeling. So good feelings, bad feelings, but not good feelings, bad feelings. It's all about, it basically says that if you're feeling something, it's because either a need is being fulfilled or not fulfilled. And then if you can name your feeling, you can try to figure out what you need, and then go from there. Ask for people to help fulfill your needs. Anyway, so that's what this book is all about. I'm really excited about it.
I like that, because just it takes me a long time to figure out why I'm in a bad mood, if I'm in a bad mood, because usually it has nothing to do with what's actually happening, but something I'm suppressing feeling wise. And then it takes me a minute to be like, oh, I'm upset. Like I put in one of my blog posts, oh, I'm upset because I don't get to see my mother at Christmas. And then I proceeded to cry for like an hour or something. But it takes me a while to be like, why am I so irritated at everyone for no reason? Like, this wouldn't have irritated me, last week. But it takes me a while but it's because something's happening, something else is happening, right? So I can't wait to read this book.
I can really relate to what you've said, Sarah, because that's where our number 9 Enneagram is so similar, in that we are great peacemakers. We're wonderful contributions to teams or families in trying to get people all on the same page. But there is another part of it, which is sometimes it's challenging to catch ourselves how we sweep things under the rug, right? Because we've built up our character being able to be a bit more mutable and changeable, to be like, no, it's all good. It's fine. We can make this work, because in reality, you can make something work, right? But where does that line cross when we're not allowing our own need to be fulfilled? And it's such an automatic process, at least for myself, that when there is potential conflict, whether it's internal or external, I don't catch myself until after. I just go into this override of just sweep this under the rug and everything's fine. And no, we're good. So you're right. Even though I haven't read the whole book, it's so helpful in being able to get a bit closer into, in this moment, I'm spazzing out, not actually because of what's happening right here, but because 3 days ago, I didn't acknowledge that I wasn't allowing my need to be fulfilled. I put the needs of others ahead of my own.
Totally. That's exactly what I was saying.
Say, would your need then be just that you need peace, or acceptance? Is that
Peace.
the need?
Peace.
Just need the peace.
Think,
yeah.
For me, I think
Totally.
mine is always I'd rather.
But you rather carry
the peace than anything else.
And you rather carry internal turmoil.
Yep.
Yes.
So you're not peaceful on the inside. I always wonder this about quiet people. I always wonder this about quiet people, because I'm married to a quiet person who stomachs all emotions to the black box, and to the black box of gone forevers. And I am not. I stomach nothing, which is also a problem. But I always wonder this about the quiet people. Do they actually just not feel things like I feel things, or are they just pushing it down? Like, I wonder, like, I couldn't
Yeah.
stand feeling things on the inside. I have to get them out of me.
Or ignoring them.
Yeah, ignoring
I
them.
sometimes I
hearing
self
them.
my talk out of it really being a big deal. Like, I don't know why you're getting so upset about this.
Yeah,
It's a big
that's
deal.
what
Is
it
this really
is.
worth it?
Oh.
Like, is this really worth
Mhm.
this? Like, to ruin the whole night?
Yeah.
And like, that's how I talk myself out of it. But if it's a real need, I don't know if B's like this, but if it's something that's really upsetting and a real need, that won't work. And like Kara said, 3 or 4 days later, or a week later, a month later, all of a sudden you're like snapping at everything and annoyed for little things.
He
like,
snaps it like he he ripped his underwear off the other day because he got mad because it was like he's like because it was like not fitting right. Yeah, like the Hulk.
Whoa.
So sexy. No. This is like a little while ago. But like he has done things like that. Like he'll spaz out on little weird things like
Yup.
his underwear, things that he can get
Yeah.
really like
Yeah.
overly mad at.
Because it's
like
more.
pots and pans or gardening.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that stupid thing. Like all of a sudden lose
Yeah.
my mind when I'm gardening,
Yeah.
and Mama do like, what's happening over there? And I'm like, nothing. This thing is just broken and whatever. And he's like,
Yeah. It's
okay.
typically,
But what's
yeah, it will
actually
come out.
happening over there.
Inanimate objects is usually
underwear.
where it and underwear it will come
Underwear.
out. And yeah, it's just, Leah, that the motivator is it feels like it's more important to have the people and environment around you in a peaceful state. It feels intolerable for the environment or the people to be in an unpeaceful state. So we'll just suck it up and be like, and do like what Sarah said, like, well, really, is it that important for me to like speak up and address this right now? Like, we would rather have the peaceful environment, peaceful people, and we'll just hold on to the tension within.
I'm trying to
For a
change,
lo-
but
yeah.
but that's the go-to. Yeah.
I think that there's something to be said also about personal narrative in those circumstances, because there's an assessment of the situation that's happening. Like, oh, it's more important to keep the peace here, which implies that you assume that peace is not an option if you also share your truth.
Yup.
And
Thanks,
so-
Kim.
So
Yup.
that informs your decision of, okay, so I'm going to choose to, whether consciously or unconsciously, talk myself out of my feeling so that I can maintain this peace that I don't think can be maintained with the addition of my feeling. So I think there's a heavy role for personal narratives or the stories we tell ourselves that plays into this as well.
To keep the peace, it might not feel peaceful for the other person involved. And if everybody has the same basic fundamental needs, but you might fulfill those needs differently from person to person, then if you can just figure out what each person's needs are, maybe you can figure out what to do and both people's needs are being fulfilled. Right?
Well,
That's
So
the goal, for sure.
Do you think, Kara and Sarah, because I started reading the book. Sorry, Sarah, as usual. And
I started it too. Like,
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
did as well.
a
Yeah.
little
All
bit,
right.
yeah. Just a little bit.
So there's the 4 components of nonviolent communication are observations, feelings, needs, and requests. So if you were in that moment, would you be able to say to whoever, I observe that you're doing this, I feel this is because this need is not being met, and would you please do this? Do you think that you would be able to do that in the moment, or you don't know what the need is, so then therefore this isn't going to help?
It just takes time. For myself, it's
Time.
not instantaneous, and it depends on the other individual. There are some individuals where it's like,
we're talking like ideal.
yeah,
person
ideal
to talk to.
circumstance, absolutely, yeah, as long as it could be slow and steady. And I think with practice rounds, Sarah, we would probably, because we're both kind of committed to want to get better, I'm thinking in practice rounds we'll get quicker and better at identifying.
You guys should do it to each other.
You said it's very like a la cognitive behavioral therapy. So just like what Kim was saying, the book absolutely does get into, well, what is the narrative that's already going on in here? So I'd say, yeah, I think we can, Lindsay, do those 4 things, but it might be a hot mess in the learning curve.
I was
Well, we
going to
get
say
to being
it
better.
really depends if I feel, and it's all about how I feel. Are we in a conflict? Even though, like, I know from therapy there's healthy conflict as well, but if I feel like we're in a conflict, there's no way in hell I could go through that.
Because
I
we're
shut down
too,
immediately.
you're so, our nervous system is like
It would be
shot.
like-
You're in fight or flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Isn't that the
could-
point of the book, is to teach you how to, in those
Yes.
conflict situations, to
Right.
maybe?
So hopefully I could, but that's what I'm really excited about the book. So hopefully maybe this is the next step for me to learn. Like I'm getting better that like maybe an hour later or the same evening, I could come back to something and be like, okay, so when this happened, which I like, even talking about going back to a situation makes me feel like I feel like nervous and sweaty and like I'm gonna throw up, like
Yeah.
so upsetting. And like, but I force myself to do it, but I only do it with people I feel safe doing it with. And like, it's very, and then occasionally, like I have a really great partner who will be like, if I take my anger out of the garden or something, he'll be like, no, but what's really going on over there? Like, this has been a couple days now. And then I'll have to like, usually for me, because I think my mom, I'll go have a shower or something and I'll be like, oh, that's why I'm upset. And then it'll be like an hour of crying or something. It'll be like, that's why I'm upset. Oh, whatever. And then I'm finally over it and then I can talk about it. But
Yeah.
I think
Well,
it is really
that sounds
hard.
very healthy, Sarah. That sounds like you're processing slowly, but there's nothing wrong with slow. That sounds
That's
like
why you improve
you're
your
actually
emotional
letting it out
growth.
eventually. Yeah, you're moving through the whole wave of your emotion and you're not being reactive at all. That sounds really healthy to me.
yeah,
But you can do that because you have a partner that's allowing you to.
Yeah, safe. Yeah, he's really easy to do it with.
Yeah, I get
but
you.
yeah, so that's I'm working towards it. I'm excited about this book because I'm constantly trying to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Book interrupted.
This is my interruption. I accidentally like washed and conditioned my hair like a couple weeks ago, and now it will not recover, and I just look like a beetle. I look like Paul McCartney. Look at this. I have like a mushroom cut. I'm gonna have to like cut it all off because it just will never recover.
Book interrupted.
I hope that this book will help me to understand people that are similar to my sister and Sarah and my husband, who's very similar to my sister. They're very similar people, and especially like how they process emotions. So I can communicate because I'm so passionate about everything. Like fucking, like the pickle is exciting, you know, like everything.
The pickle is exciting.
The pickle is
I want one
exciting.
right now.
I know, they're so good.
What
But,
kind of pickle?
Yeah,
Kosher full, what are they? The full
sours.
sours?
Mm,
Full sours.
Full sour. Now I don't want
Oh,
it
they're
anymore.
so
No, I
good.
don't.
That's my favorite pickle.
Yeah, but that's
My
my hopes
favorite
from reading
pickle.
this book.
It is,
that I'll
actually.
understand how other people process emotion better. Also, like I could probably use some of these skills. Let's be honest.
Well, that's what I was saying. Actually, very similar to what, because I think you and I communicate more similar than, say, Kara and Sarah. And I'm worried because, for like I was telling Laird, one of the examples was, I see that you leave your socks on the floor. This makes me feel something like stressed, and my need of a clean house isn't being met. So would you please pick up your socks? To me, I'm like, why don't I just say, pick up your damn fucking socks? Like,
Yeah.
which is what I would do.
Yeah.
So, and I've had to learn, especially with Sarah, because for me, I communicate with her differently than everybody else because I've communicated with her the way that I communicate with everybody else. And she doesn't talk to me for a bit, or I can tell she's like, okay. Oh my gosh, I can't. So now
We're
I'm
fighting.
like,
Oh my god, we're
yes.
fighting. You're like,
And so
I don't
I'll
think we're fighting. Just
I
pick up your
usually
damn
start.
socks.
Yeah.
Our
And so I
friendship
usually
is
am
ruined
like,
forever.
yeah. Whereas
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
like,
look, my socks out.
oh, like I love you, Sarah, and you're so great at all of these things and da da da. Do you mind, please, if you would just pick up that one sock because it's kind of in my way or something? But it's okay if you can't. So, but I do all that because I only do it for you, or for maybe for Kara too, because I'm not doing it for me. So maybe this book will help me also, like Leah said, communicate in a way for people that can't take my pick up your damn socks way of saying things.
Yes.
But it also worries me because I'm like, why do I have to say so many extra words? Can't I just say what I mean?
That
and
was
then
my
you say
initial
what you
reaction.
mean,
Exactly. the
Totally.
And
same.
then let's move on. Like,
Yeah,
but
like I said to Kara when I started reading the book, I was saying to Kara yesterday, we were on the
So
phone, and I was
funny.
like, he speaks, or he talks a bit about like manipulation, like why would you like
Words you
communicating
use.
in an authentic way that's not manipulating the situation? I was like, well, why would you talk to anyone then. I was like, if
Like,
I
I don't
can't
understand.
manipulate people to get what I want, then why would I even open my
I'll
mouth?
just be
And
quiet.
then I like literally had to go to my notebook about the book, like my notes along the way from my personal journals. It was like, I wrote it down and then underneath I underlined, that's not healthy. I'll put the picture, I'll take a picture of it and send it to our group thing. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? If you've enjoyed these video highlights, listen to the full episode on our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember to like and subscribe and ring that bell to be notified when new episodes are published. Find out more by going to www.bookinterrupted.com.
Book Interrupted.